Hello, everyone. My name is Katie, and welcome to the Greenland Quilter channel. Today, I am going to interview a special person. Her name is Cheri, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and the name of her channel. And then I'm going to start asking her questions. And then about midways, we're going to have a trunk show. And then following that will be rapid fire. So let's get started. And I'm going to share to Cheri.
Shirley, and I have a channel that I started pretty seriously about 4 months ago. It's Cheri Yurtin, my quilting world, and it's where I share what I do in my world. I'm a long arm quilter, so I do that, and I like to piece quilts and make quilts. I taught quilts and taught um, classes on how to do them. And so I just like to share those things that's in my world that I'm doing. Sometimes there's going to be mistakes and sometimes it's going to go really good. But that's my world.
So, who influenced you to learn to sew, and how long have you been sewing? And would you describe your learning process as you've traveled through this process?
Well, my mom and my sister and my grandmother, they sewed, but I grew up in the household with my mom and my sister doing a lot of sewing. They did garment sewing and they sewed for people. They did a lot of alterations or made outfits because in the 70s, a lot of people were making their own clothing. So then we had to, in school, I had been seventh grade, 12 years old. You did home ec, a semester of sewing and a semester of cooking. Well, I got hooked. Cooking, I can give up.
Yep.
Sewing, I got hooked. So I started there and all through school from my seventh grade till my 12th grade through, I took sewing in school.
Was there sewing offered every year or something?
At my school, there was. It was an elective. You could take it. And the last year, they got into more textiles.
Mm-hmm.
The 11th year, it was more like the welted pockets on a suit. And, we had to make clothes.
That
So,
sounds like
and
fun.
I
I
was
didn't.
really tiny at that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of clothes did not fit me. I could not go out. I was like a size of a 14-year-old girl's
Mhm.
size, but with a shape.
Yep.
So I had to make a lot of my own clothes.
My problem was always was probably one of the reasons I started making my own clothes too. One of them is my shoulders. I was itty bitty girl. I mean, I weighed 99 pounds when I graduated from high school, but I have wide shoulders. They were 17 and a half inches across.
Yeah, that
And when
is
you're a size 8 or 9 in clothes, but your shoulders won't fit.
the tops would be kind of hard to, and
Yeah, you
dresses would
could.
be
The
hard
shoulder
to.
area was a pain, man, because they'd
Yeah.
be tight. So I learned how to modify just the shoulder part of it without, because I didn't have much, you know, size in my lady part up top at all. I was very flat chested. So it was all about how to get this to fit without making this look bad, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, we learned how to do a lot of pattern manipulation and changing
Yep.
for each area of your body and I did that for quite a while. That's all I sewed and made little outfits for my kids, shorts, PJs, and that I did that. And
How long ago did you start making beautiful quilts?
well, I was probably about 26, 28 years old when I made my first quilt. It was a log cabin quilt. I took a class from one person,
Okay.
and it was just one on one. And she showed me how to do she did the cutting. I don't think there was rotary cutters. They were coming out at that time because it was in the early 80s.
Yeah.
And so I said I wanted to make a quilt in my lifetime. I wanted to try to make a quilt, and I did. Then after that, I just did easy things like the ones that you sew the backing and the front together and you birth it, and
Yeah.
I did that. After 5 months of quilting that quilt, I didn't want to go into it as much anymore. But then in my early late 30s to 40s, I started getting back into sewing, and quilting started getting big.
Yeah.
So I ended up working at a fabric store. And of course, you buy fabric,
Nice.
things come through, you see it. And a lot of them, of the people that I worked with, made quilts. So I one of my friends had me and coworkers, we got together and we did a quilt, our own quilt that she kind of showed us what to do.
Hmm.
And that just
Took off from
started
there.
the bug. That was it. And then I went from being a piecer to working on the sewing machine where I would um, stitch in the ditch and finish my own quilts. I don't think I've ever paid anyone to quilt my own quilts, but there wasn't a lot of that uh, available at that time, you know. It was either hand quilt, and I didn't know any machine quilters at that time. So working at the fabric store also, then someone says, "Sure, you need to get a long arm." And I go, "Why?" And they says, "You just need to, because I got a lot of quilts and you could do them." I invest the money, and then she would let me do
Let
her
you
quilts.
do them.
She let me do her quilts, and I learned, and she even paid me for them, but I learned from that.
Yeah.
And I just, like I said, I was in the fabric industry as far as I worked at a fabric store. I worked at a Husqvarna Viking store. And oh, I got a good thing that I had, no one knows, is that during that time of learning all this, like the long arm and the quilting and, educating myself, I went out to San Marcos, California.
Hmm.
That's where Eleanor Burns is.
Oh, okay.
And
Gotcha.
I took a class
Sweet.
week, like a week and a half with her, with other people, and
Hmm.
I became a certified Eleanor Burns teacher.
Oh, that's so cool.
And
That's
that gave me, yeah,
outstanding.
yeah, that was good. And she's such a nice woman too. So I was able to do that, and then I brought back and I started teaching, and
Okay.
that's how I got into teaching.
So
Then I came
did
here and taught more.
so when you first started sewing and then you migrated to quilting, were you thinking about teaching at the time? Or you just kind of fell into it?
I kind of fell into it. It was I was always one that I was willing to instruct or explain or do things like that.
Yeah.
I in different ways. I used to toll paint, where
Yeah.
you painted with acrylics. I
Hmm.
did that. So I took classes there. Then I taught people in that. So I guess I've always been kind of a teacher of some kind,
Well,
and
that's
that's how I I got into it. Is like the bugs there. So then you want to do more, and
yeah. You want to share more.
you want to share.
I've understood that because as a gardener, I loved sharing and anyone who'd let me bend their ear, I was bending their ear.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Our, our our poor husbands, huh? What they've
yeah.
had to live through. They could do everything we can.
Hmm. Yep. What are your favorite genres of fabric?
See, I
Ooh,
like all
that's
fabric,
quite
except I'm not a novelty fabric person
okay.
as much. Christmas, yes, but
The
and
other,
fall, but yeah, but
okay.
yeah, I like all.
Who is your favorite fabric or pattern designer, or do you prefer to make your own patterns and not really specific on what fabrics you use when you're doing it?
I don't have a certain designer or anyone. It's like the pattern has to, it talks to you, you know,
Yeah.
draws you in. You
Hmm.
either see it hanging and somebody's already done it,
I'm
or
glad I'm not
the
the only one
color.
that doesn't have a favorite.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite designer. I can, you know, I admire different ones, you know,
Mhm.
for their skills and what they can do. And that, like Lori Holt with all her needle turn embroidery and things like that. I admire a lot of them, and I have gotten into it, and I've tested the waters in those areas too, you know, because of curiosity.
Yep. Um, are you more of a traditional quilter or a modern, or do you kind of swim in between the two?
I would say probably more traditional, but I do have leaned towards modern. I appreciate the modern, and I have made some modern quilts, and sometimes those can end up being your favorites, you
Yep.
know. So
When you first started making your quilts, did you automatically just drift in hand quilting, or did you quilt on the machine to start with and then learn how to hand quilt? Where did hand quilting fall into your learning curve of doing all of this?
with my first quilt I ever made,
Okay.
she yeah, she showed it and showed me how to hand quilt, and I did it. And then I went and she showed me how to tie a quilt.
The little
So
thing.
she
Yeah.
gave me both skills, you
Okay.
know, with that. And so
Oh,
that's how that started. And later on, the others came about in the machine.
now I know that you have a long arm machine. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But do you feel that which do you love better, hand quilting, or do you like getting on that long arm and doing it on that? Or is it equal opportunity that you love both of them at the same time?
I actually, I mean, my passion ended up being on the long arm, but I'm reintroducing myself to the hand quilting, and I really like it. I want to incorporate machine quilting and hand quilting in the same quilt.
That would be
If that
great.
makes sense. But I
Yeah.
want to do that, and so that way the both two can marry, and I can
Hmm.
be happy.
Yep. I was wondering what reason could you not do that? I mean, show off both skills on one quilt so that,
I think it, I think it'd be beautiful.
I think so too. As a quilter, is there anything you have learned that you wish someone had told you in the beginning?
It's more like you're going to get hooked. You're going to invest a lot of money into this. No, uh, I would have to just say, starting out, I would have liked to had more information given to me by my teacher,
Hmm.
other than step by step going through the process, understanding how to cut, understanding the rulers, understanding, you know, the scissors or the rotary cutter, you know, the tools that I would be using. I would have liked more education on that.
Yeah, yeah. I would like more education on the mechanics of a quilt. You know, why you do it, how these blocks come together, the mechanism that brings them all together. Because I don't think I have a good enough understanding of that part. Maybe that'll come over time, I'm sure, but you
I
know,
think that's when the geometry comes in, is that
yeah.
there was the necessity of quilting, and it was more utilitarian quilts. Then
Hmm.
it went into the Victorian era where it was like the fancy
Mm-hmm.
quilts. And then, yeah, I think that's then people started playing with the designs
Yep.
a lot during the time in the slave days when there was they quilted a lot and they came up with a lot of the
Yeah.
patterns. Most
Yeah.
of the patterns they came up with.
Yep. Um, tell us tell us about what you envisioned in the beginning of your quilt journey and how has it evolved over time?
I think I envisioned just something I could do and I could enjoy, be creative. I've always been a person who likes creativity. How it involved is I never expected to uh, be teaching how to do it, but I did. I didn't expect on finishing quilts for people, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it involved further than I ever anticipated it to.
Yeah. Why do you make quilts and what does quilting give back to you?
Well, I make quilts again for the creativity. Uh, it gives me a lot of satisfaction. It gives me the confidence when I can achieve a pattern that has been difficult, or I'm learning, or a new step. Um, so it gives back with the knowledge I gain.
Yep. What do you like best about making a quilt and what do you love doing the most? Example would be piecing, binding, quilting, etc.
Like it all. At first, I can't wait picking out the fabric. Then I can't wait to start cutting. Then I start cutting. I'm thinking, okay, I'm tired of cutting. Then the sewing, seeing the blocks come together, seeing it come together, and then you have your blocks and you lay it out and you
Mm-hmm.
see the design, or you can play with it and change the design around a little bit. That's that's what I like. It's actually the whole process, but there I would say in one way it's putting the quilt together that
Oh, you're the first one to
keeps me
say that.
excited. Yeah.
Oh, that,
It's like, yeah, it makes you excited again. It's like
yep,
you're excited at the beginning when you're cutting and doing all that. Then when you're piecing and you see those blocks, it gets you all excited to continue. Then you get to see the whole thing. And then there's a lot of satisfaction in seeing the whole quilt top finished.
that's that I agree with that. What is your favorite type of quilt to make and why? An example would be applique, piecing, whole cloth. What is your favorite style, I guess, that you like making? Some people love doing applique, some people like just
I
only
can give you two.
piecing.
I like piecing. Of course,
Okay.
I do mostly piecing, but I've done paper piecing. When I do that, I end up really enjoying it.
Yeah, I do too.
I haven't done anything. Well, I did a New York Beauty in paper piecing.
One of those.
There's a lot of satisfaction in that, if you get through your first couple of blocks and
Yep, yep. What is the hardest thing about creating a quilt from your perspective?
I think if I was creating or designing a quilt, I feel like, how am I going to come up with something that no one else has done?
Yeah.
And I think that kind of holds me back in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Is I I did do one that was more modern for my grandson, and it was blocks and rectangles and sashing the goats down through. That was a modern quilt, but I really admire the ones that can come up with putting different blocks together to make a quilt block,
Yeah.
you
Do
know.
you, do you find yourself whenever you see a pattern, or this is how I see it anyway, you may see the same. Do you find yourself wanting to make sure that whatever you create from someone else's pattern that it doesn't look like their quilt that they made. Do you find yourself doing that?
Uh,
I'm trying to think of a
no,
better way to ask that question. Like you don't want to be a copycat, make it exactly like how they did it.
yeah, I think I follow the directions and I do make the quilt the way the pattern says, unless I know a better way to get
Yeah.
around that, a shortcut that I have learned through the years. Um, I think when you pick out your own fabric, you automatically make it different. The
Yeah.
quilt
Yeah.
has a different look.
Yep. And
Yeah.
and I've seen this over time where we all might be making the same quilt pattern, but because we all used our own choice of colors and style of fabric, what you thought one would look like, and then when you see it, it's totally different.
Yeah, what's interesting is you could do something like when you had asked about making your own pattern or whatever. What's interesting is you just if you start putting pieces together from that, sometimes another block can come out of that.
Yeah, yeah,
And that if
exactly.
you worked on it long enough, you'll find another way.
How do you decide what pattern you're going to make?
It's just mostly inspiration, what inspires me. Uh,
So let's expand on that a little bit.
okay.
Do you buy fabric first with no pattern in mind, or do you see a pattern and you say I'm going to make this and then go buy your fabric? How do you mesh the two together?
I buy my fabric first
I do
because
too.
I know it's eye candy, so I buy fabric that I like, and then I always make sure I either have background or things like that. Then, if I need a certain color or I need a different background, then I'll go out and go. I'll see what I have. If
Yeah,
I There's some that you have to buy your
yeah,
as you go along, as you buy your before you make your pa- uh, pattern.
yep. So here's a loaded question. How many quilts have you made, and how many of them do you still have? You can best guess it. You don't have to.
Well, I did t-shirt quilts for a company for a while, so I won't count those because I did a lot of, I did a lot of those. Um, I, I don't know. I guess I could say close to 100 and I probably have 80.
Yeah. How many do
I
you
mean,
think
I've
you
done it
make?
for other people.
Yeah. How many do you think you finish a year?
Um, now,
Yeah.
now,
Currently, in the last, I don't know, 5 years.
okay. Well, before I could do the top, you mean just the piecing or the complete quilt?
I would,
Piecing, I could do quite a few,
you're
if
probably
I
like
was
me.
just
You could be
piecing.
prolific making quilt tops, but not finish them. Let's say
I
finished, but
have a bunch
let's
of
go
them.
with finished quilt. Yeah, let's do finished quilt
Uh,
because you have a long arm and everything. I don't.
if I, from start to finish, depending on how, I could do one a month.
Oh, wow. So 12 a year. Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I know someone else that probably puts out that many of them. That's wonderful.
not that I
Okay.
do, but I could.
Yeah, you could, whether you do or not. Yeah. All right. The next question is, do you get when you finish your quilt, do you name it or did you just um put a quilt label on it and don't give it a name?
That already had a name, certain ones. If that name is seems important to me, I will name it. But
Okay.
I always on the label put my name, the town I'm from at that time that I lived, and the year.
Okay. All right. What is your go-to thread?
Um, Superior or signature or a fill. For my machine, for my domestic machine, I like Aurifil a lot. For my long arm, I use the other two mostly.
Okay. Is there anyone else in your family besides yourself who creates quilts?
No,
So you're like me, the only one. All
Yeah.
right. Now, I know you have multiple sewing machines. That includes the long arm. So my first question is, which sewing machine that you have is your most favorite of machine?
So
Is
that's
that
hard.
difficult?
If it was the straight stitch only machines, um, I really like two, but I have a 301, a Singer 301 that I really like it a lot.
I've heard a lot
But
of
I
people
also
say they
like
like
the
that
featherweights.
301.
Huh?
I've heard a lot of people talk about they love that 301.
Yeah, I really like it. And it's like a big sister of the featherweight
Okay,
machine.
gotcha.
And I love the featherweight. As far as on every day when I have to have my other stitches and just every day, I have a brother that
Okay.
is computerized that I do, but I pull my little machines out and
So
sew them.
how many sewing machines that are not a long arm do you have?
I think I think 20 or 22.
Wow.
I
Are
haven't
they
come.
all singers and brothers or are they I noticed
Uh,
behind you you have a looks like what's an embroidery machine.
oh, this is my
Or
wait
is that an
right there.
overlock? Yeah, that.
That's my serger.
Oh,
I
serger.
have a look. Yeah, I have a little singer here that I just got this replaced a small Janome gem that went out. So this is gonna go out to the campground
Oh,
also.
nice.
And
Okay.
then I have brother, I have uh, Husqvarna Viking, domestic, a Montgomery Ward's machine for my mom. I have a Bernina.
Oh, wow.
A lot of
Okay.
them are the Singer that has,
Yeah,
because Singer
bam.
made so many models.
Yep, they did. So what kind of long arm machine do you have?
I have two Gamels.
Oh, you
My
have.
first one I got was an 18-inch throat, and it had stitch regulation on it. it. It's when you go, you can control your stitches.
Yep. Yep.
And I had that retrofitted to be computerized.
Hmm.
And then before I did that, I had gotten another Gamel, which is the Optimum, which is, I think it's 26 or 28-inch throat. And that's computerized. But any of them I can do free motion on. I can make a manual if I want.
I
And
I was told that the Gamel is one of the easiest machines to fix by a person. If they run into a problem, they generally can troubleshoot it themselves and figure out what the problem is.
yeah, when I got my uh, smaller one, my husband took a class that they offered
Okay, cool.
on maintenance and how the belts and how the innards worked and all this stuff. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, he's my maintenance guy, unless it gets, you know, if something where the hard drive or something, a belt or something like that goes out, he could change it, but we would have to have it in stock. But yeah,
Now,
they're very reliable and you don't have to maintain them very often. Just keep them
yeah,
oiled and cleaned.
that. Yep, I've heard that. Um, do you prefer using the computer for it to do it for you edge to edge, or do you enjoy free motion from time to time and get on there and just do it yourself?
I like to free motion time to time, but it got to where when I was teaching quilting, I had a piece of quilt.
Yeah,
I ended up getting so many quilts that I had to go more computerized edge to edge because I couldn't
couldn't keep
keep up
up.
with them. I would have sometimes a backlog of 20 quilts, and then I'd have to, you know, but I'm getting more back into wanting to do more of my free motion again because that's a skill
Yeah.
that I worked hard for,
Yep.
and if you don't do it, you can lose it, you
Yep.
know.
That's right. I have 16 quilt tops that need quilting.
Bring them on. Now, I love doing it on the domestic. I love free motion where I can put my hands down and do that.
Now, I haven't learned how to free motion on my Janome yet. I do straight stitch and I'm doing okay with that. At least I think they look pretty good. I just need to get the lines to, sometimes I get a little wave,
That's
or I
that's the
accidentally did a little bit,
that's the same.
yeah, just, but
Yeah.
I haven't tried to free motion on this one yet because I don't know, I'm a little afraid maybe.
You just have to
I don't know.
drop the feed dogs, put the tension to zero, and you have a open toe foot and
Yep.
keep your hands out of the way.
And I know that I have to switch this particular machine. There's another bobbin case that you can use for free motion. It
Yeah.
changes the tension on the bobbin apparently, and
Okay.
it's been recommended to use that one and not use the one that came in the machine because you can easily break this one, I guess,
Y-
or something.
I did hear of those.
Yeah, that's
Well,
the one thing
it's
about
like
this
it's set.
machine.
Yeah.
Okay. What? Let me see here. What other hobbies do you dabble in, and do you spend as much time on them as you do making quilts?
In my lifetime, I have when I had, when I painted, I spent a lot of time on it. The other hobby I like to do is camping. We have RV, so we have it at a place where it's close to home. I can go out there. I call it my little dollhouse. I can go out there anytime I want. So I like to do that, but I've really, as I've gotten older, I've narrowed down. It's what relaxes me and what
Yeah,
gives me the satisfaction. It's, quilting does and camping does and, things like that.
you weren't
Where,
kidding about the hand quilting being addictive.
oh, it is. It's so relaxing. I mean,
You
I
just
want to,
do it.
I
You just
want to
once
pick it
I get,
back up all the time.
yeah, this chickadee's hooked. I'm going to be doing more practicing, that's for sure.
You've done good.
And yeah, I just, I'm enjoying the heck out of it, and I think I'm gonna have fun with it.
Yeah.
I maybe the reason my stitches probably look decent is when I was a teenager, one of the things I learned how to do for a little while was do embroidery, but I still couldn't tie off knots. That's my nemesis, tying off. And but I was pretty good at it, but I don't know, I just put it down one day and didn't do it anymore. And I realized how long ago that was. I must have been 16 or 17, and I haven't done any hand embroidered since then.
But it's still in your head.
And so it must still, the
Yeah,
skill part must still be there.
yeah.
Muscle
That's why
memory,
you have
yes,
such even stitches and
probably. Yeah.
straight
It's
stitches.
funny. I wanted to, never mind what I wanted to do because I ended up I didn't realize I did it when I looked. I'm like, uh-oh, that was not supposed to go that way. And I had to take it out. Okay. You said you started your channel 4 months ago. Do you, since your channel's so new, what kind of goals have you set for your channel? And do you hope that what do you want to change about as you go?
As far as growth,
Yep.
my first milestone is to reach 500 subscribers.
Okay.
I think I have 452.
So you're almost there already.
I'm almost there. I'm excited about that. And then the next goal would be the 1,000.
Yep.
But I really, then, it's just really being able, my goal is to be able to touch somebody, to communicate with them
Yep.
and do that. I have quite a few
I think
views.
your teaching ability is going to make your channel rock before it's over with.
Well, thank you. I this month it just showed that I had 13,000 views.
Oh, that's really
So
good.
I'm excited about that. I'm thinking I never was thinking for a year and take a year to get, you know, but
That's
yeah, I hope
outstanding, Cheri.
I want to bring stuff to contribute. I want to contribute to people so that they can learn, or, you know,
That's
what I want to do.
wonderful. What do you love most about your YouTube channel, and what do you dislike the most about it?
What I like the most is the community, the people I have met, the other creators, like Katie and I,
Yeah, we
she's
hit it
become
off.
my friend,
Yeah.
and that I have enjoyed the conversations that I have with the other people that's not even creators, that they're subscribers,
Yeah.
and they get on YouTube. You you make a friendship with them.
Yeah. Meet new
And
people. And
the one thing I dislike the most is editing.
the what?
I'll get better. You guys might just be getting me raw.
Sorry. Yeah,
And unedited.
the technology and
That's it.
moving around inside of YouTube is not as simple as people think it is. Especially if you and I are older. Not to be knocking old people, we're not old, but you know what I mean. We're of an
Yeah.
older generation, and so I feel like the technology has become so modern and advanced. I'm having difficulty keeping up, and I'm having to learn. Okay, this doesn't work, so how do I make this work? And I'm sure that
Yeah.
you're finding that too. But you got your hubby
There's a lot
helping
of
you
time.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of time that's involved in doing
Yeah,
this. The
this is not
planning,
easy job.
you're planning, you're trying to find what would somebody be interested in. You're learning the technology, you're trying to keep up with it, you're trying to upgrade your
Yep.
equipment if at
You've
certain
got to
points.
at some point. I need to upgrade now because one of the things I noticed that people I've been getting comments recently, and they're not bad comments. They're comments on how can I improve my when I'm sewing on a live. How can, because nobody complains about me doing this all the time because I do a lot of, but they want to see my sewing bed. And even though I have that one camera over here or over here in the front, they still can't exactly see. I need a camera that like
Goes over. Yeah, I have one
over
that
on
has
some kind of
arm.
apparatus that won't be in the way.
Yeah,
That,
it
and I
clamps on
realized that.
and has an arm, and
Yeah,
then you're
yeah. And you'd
but
be able to adjust, like Becca does. She's got hers where it'll zoom
oh
in. And
yeah, she's really like
there's someone
over
else
the
that
top.
I forget who the other person is, but they also zoom in and out. And I'm like, how do you do that?
I
Because
know.
and when people make those kind of comments, they're not being mean at all. They're just saying, I wish I could see what you were doing better. So yeah.
Well, your side camera gives a pretty good angle.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
just thought
whoever
I
did it.
think this still have, and it could be that because I've been trying this side angle, and I'm getting closer, but everything's from a side view instead of if
Right
you
on.
were right behind me looking, I guess is what I
Right.
mean. Yeah.
I
So
know
anyway,
it's hard. It's hard to know. You test different things, and it depends on the area that you have to work in,
yeah.
and you know,
And
on
I
what
know
you can
when
do.
we eventually get back in the other room, we're probably going to resolve a lot of these problems. I wouldn't mind, our ceilings are low enough. I don't know why I couldn't find an apparatus where I could hang it from, have the apparatus attached to the ceiling where it could, like come down and put the camera down like that. I
You
thought
can
about that,
almost
but I
get
don't
like
know if
a
there's
light,
such a thing
like
like that.
yeah, like hanging lights.
Yeah, like down there
Flip it
right above
on,
your head, you know.
ziplock it.
Yep. Okay, now what we're going to do is take a break from questions, and we are going to do a trunk show. And I will be sharing Cheri's photos, and she's also going to share a couple of her quilts in person too. And she's going to tell you about the quilt. She may not tell you the name of it because some of these are older, but she can tell you about the process and why she used the colors or what she liked about the design, anything she has to say about it. And that's what we're going to do. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to spotlight you first so you can share those two that you want to share in person. and then we'll move over to share the screen with the pictures.
Okay, I'm gonna get the,
Where is the
I
spot?
don't know if you can see this or not, but I just show you mostly the quilting.
That quilting is gorgeous. I want to be like you.
This is where I did the straight lines I did
Yep.
on the computer, but these I did freehand.
Those
But
were
I
free
like this.
motion or hand, were they free motion or hand quilted?
These were free motioned.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, Let me see. Maybe you can see better this way.
Yeah, look at
Which
there.
one do you like?
Yeah, we can see that better this way.
Yeah.
You can see the design. Yep, look at that. Wow.
Yeah. This is all
Beautiful,
done
Cheri.
freehand. And
Wow.
then I did this computerized so that I could keep my lines real straight.
Yep.
And this is more of a modern type quilt.
Yep. I see the colors are yellow and
And
gray and white.
yeah, it's interlocked.
Oh, you got some turquoise in there too. Or is that green?
Yeah, it's green. It's like a teal
Yeah, it
color.
looks, yep, it's
But
beautiful.
these interlock, this is called was it called a ribbon candy or something?
Mm-hmm.
So this was that one, and I taught that a lot of the quilts I have, I taught.
Mm-hmm.
I got to get my other one. Um, in class, so that's how I ended up with them. This is my very first quilt I ever did.
Wow. So you still have your first quilt.
Yep.
How
In the
many
late,
years? How many years do you think you've had it?
I think I did it in 1979.
Look at it, it's still intact too.
Yeah. And then this is the one I learned how to hand quilt on. I don't know
Did
if you
you
can,
hand piece it too, or did you sew machine piece it?
did the sewing machine.
Okay. You know, that fabric, I bet you could, that gray fabric, that gray is prettier.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's actually blue. It's country
I was
blue.
wondering if it was like a blue gray or a blue.
Yeah.
I
And
bet you couldn't
Dusty
even find that
Rose.
color anywhere.
And then chintz. Chintz fabric was really in during that time.
Oh, look
I
at
do
that.
have a little hole I got to fix.
Yep, I see that.
My little doggy did that. Not the one I got now, but one I had years ago.
Well, it's beautiful. Okay, let
Thank
me.
you.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share the screen, and then we're going to look at pictures, and then Cheri's going to tell you about each one. So let me go over here and find the share here. Okay, now we're going to go here. And I'm going to move this to the middle of the screen. All right.
Okay, the one right there that you have
Can you see it?
highlighted. Yeah. If you wanted to double click on it, you could. It would bring it up more. But that's like a double Irish chain that I had done.
Can you actually see the whole the big picture? Or are you still looking at the little one?
Whoop. I'm still looking at the little one.
All right, I need to do something different. Hold on a minute. That means that I need to. All right, now let me try sharing. I'm gonna reshare again, okay?
Okay.
Okay, now can you see the bigger picture of it?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right.
That's like the Irish. Yeah, this one's like an Irish chain. Not exactly, but it's still within the realm of it. And of course, I like these colors. These are one of my favorite colors. It's coral and that. You'll see that in a lot of the quilts.
Mm-hmm. So coral is one of your favorite colors?
Yeah, corals and teals, and I like a lot of colors.
Did you enjoy the process of creating it?
Yeah, this one was fun. It was fun to see this come together. It
It
was,
looks like it's pretty beginner friendly.
yeah, it was. It is because it was like 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch um, blocks, and then you would match them up and sew it. And you can see there's two designs, actually, three designs. The
Yep.
actual whole quilt, and then you see the diamond in it,
Mm-hmm. And
like
then you
the
have this
diamond. And
design
then
here
there's,
too.
yeah, and then there's actually a circle
Yep.
in the center, like if you see it.
Yep.
So that's what's fun about quilts is that look for secondary designs. That
Um,
one wasn't quilted at the time.
yeah. Just do you remember what fabric line you used?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't
No,
ever
no.
remember
Doesn't hurt
what
to ask.
fabric.
If I don't ask, someone else might. Okay.
This was my first one that I had shown. Yeah.
This one's the courthouse, not
Uh,
courthouse, log cabin.
the
Sorry.
log cabin. This is my very first quilt that I did.
That's beautiful.
So
Okay.
a queen size.
Okay. Did it, since this was your first one, did it take you a long time to do this first one?
I can't remember. I think it was like maybe 4 months that we worked on it at her house. Like I went like once a week or something. No, I went more than once a week. I went twice a week. It was a while. And then it's one of those that we did with the strips. She already had the strips laid out just in the order that she needed to be. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I lost you.
No, you're here.
I think you,
Wait a
okay.
minute.
My screen is,
Yeah, something's
okay.
going on with the screen. Hang on a minute.
Yeah. I think
Let
it's
me,
on my end.
I see your doggy, but I don't see you, but I can hear you, right?
Well, I'll tell you. Yep. I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
I see you now. Okay, I see you now. You're fine. All right.
Switch cameras,
Yeah, the
but
camera went to,
I'll move this camera up when we're
okay.
done, and
Okay.
I'll forget about the other one.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's
Okay.
go to the next
So
one.
yeah, this was pardon?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, this was she let me pick out. She had fabrics at her store, let me pick out the fabrics, and of course these colors were the color to have. You walked into somebody's house and this is the colors that they had in their house and their decor and that. But it was a queen size.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
And you're lucky that you still have it.
Yeah. You got to
Okay.
repair it, but this is just a, oh, I don't remember the name of this, but it was like, it's okay. It's like a pinwheel. It
Mm-hmm.
is a pinwheel quilt, but you can see that in the center, you did a snowball. Yes, you snowballed those. And then on the sides to get that other, you had the rectangle and you did the 2-inch square on the top to get that continuing to give the points.
Yeah, it looks almost like you did a half square triangle there.
Yeah, yeah, I did actually on that. I mean, it was. Let me
Oh,
see.
because
Did I?
it's a different color up here too. That's what I'm seeing. Because you use different backgrounds on each
Yeah,
of
one
these.
one. See if you look. Yeah, if you look there, it's the darker color has the darker on
Yep.
that
Mm-hmm.
on the rectangle, and the lighter back has the
Yeah, I can see that
triangle on
now.
that. Yeah,
That's what makes it look so interesting.
yeah, it was. I wish I would have made it bigger.
It would have made a
I
fantastic.
can do it
Oh,
again, can I?
yep.
Have fabric, will sew.
They give it to me and I'll make something out of it. Okay.
Um,
This
this
is
one
going to
is
show the
it.
quilting.
I think this one is a disappearing four patch.
Wow. Look at that quilting.
Yeah, I like that. But
That's
where you did the
beautiful.
four patch, you cut it and then
Yep.
yeah,
That's gorgeous, Cheri.
round or something like that. I can't remember if that is or is got the stars. So
Yeah, it still has a star going around it.
Yeah, so maybe I don't
There's an
I'm
hourglass
not
up
sure.
there.
Yeah.
I tend to,
Mhm.
yeah, maybe it was just the way you built it.
I
That-
think it's the way I quilted it. Yeah, the way I
Yeah.
pieced it. Yeah,
Yep.
if I break it down, you can see the blocks.
Mm-hmm.
You break down the block, you can see
Is
it.
this the same
That's a bigger
pattern?
picture of it. Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
So
It's funny, you got this big block and you have hourglasses in each corner and then the little uh
yeah, one block makes another one.
yeah. And then you got this little thing going on here with these stars all the way
Yeah.
from that square block.
Yeah.
That's
I don't
beautiful,
remember the
Sherry.
name of that one either, but
It's beautiful.
yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, I
It's
like
like
that one too. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, this one's pretty. I like this one
I
too.
think that's a square and a square.
It looks like it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
And
got these uh
uh, those are half square triangles to look like flying geese.
yeah, I was about to say that's what it looked like with flying geese.
Yeah.
Only it was half square triangles used for it.
Yeah. So
That's
you can
beautiful.
just see that they're just framed different each
Yep, yep.
every other block.
That's beautiful. And then we
Thank you.
got quilting on that quilt you just showed us earlier.
Yeah, that's the one that I had shown you.
Look at that. That's gorgeous.
Mm, thanks. Makes me want to. I'm glad I got to pull these out to see. This is called the bird quilt. Little chicks. It's called Little Chicks.
Look at that. That's
Yeah,
super cute.
I did this I taught this one in a class. And this is a combination of the pinwheels
Mhm.
and then fused applique, where
Okay.
it was, fused on the fabric. Then you
Yeah.
could fuse it on. And then I did like a satin stitch or a buttonhole stitch you could do uh, around it. We did like on your machine, you have a little round button type thing
Mm-hmm.
that for a buttonhole. I did that for the eyes, and then I just free handed the little chicky legs. Well, I did mark them with a pencil, and then
Well, I was going to ask you if you hand sewed the eyes and the feet.
no, nope. I did the stitches that looks almost like lightning bolts for the
Mm-hmm.
feet,
Yeah.
real small. Yeah,
Okay. Well, it's pretty.
thanks. I like that one.
And
And
here's
that's again the
got
same
that.
one that we saw earlier, only bigger. You get to see it.
And I like that. That's gorgeous.
Mhm.
That's so much fun. It
That
looked
is,
like it would be fun to make.
it was. You just had to, think, you thought you was weaving the fabric in and out of each other.
Yep.
It was fun to make.
It looks like fun. Something I wouldn't mind trying to make because it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I liked it.
And this one
Um,
too, I would like to learn how to. I haven't made one like this, and I think I would love the
trying to,
challenge of this.
yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of that. This one, it's just, the blocks and the rectangles and, different things coming in at different points.
Yeah. It looks like is this part of it the whole block?
Uh, mhm. I, yeah,
Maybe.
basically it is.
Okay.
Like they have the two colors, the frame, the two
Mhm.
color,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, that's block. And then, of course, there was other size blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting, but I don't remember that name either.
It's
We'll call it
beautiful.
shadow boxes. How's that?
Yeah. Okay. We got the shamrock.
I had to pull that out because it's for, St. Patty's Day's coming up.
Yep.
This was out of the Simply Charming quilt book. They had quite a few different series that you could do the different holidays, hearts and so forth. So I taught this one too, and this
So
was
this is
one of them.
piecing the shamrock part of it was pieced.
That was pieced. It's a square with the snowballed on three sides,
Okay, gotcha.
and then you just do your curve. You do I think on that one the stem is like fused on and then appliqued.
Okay. All right. And uh-oh, did I just skip something? No, I did.
That look,
Okay,
this
for
one
a minute I thought I
it is
did.
done. It does it this one is completed. It shows right here that it doesn't have a border, but it is done and hanging up.
Wow,
And
look at that.
yeah, this is called peppermint twist.
It's funny, I was just thinking it kind of reminded me of a candy cane.
Yep, peppermint twist. It's one of I would have to say it might be one of my favorites right now. Um, for the quilt. Now this was machine quilted. I didn't do any freehand with this, but I had to, you have when you're quilting it, you have to mark out every bit of it. So the design was from me,
Yeah.
what I wanted to do and that. But there was yeah, it hangs in my uh family room up here.
Well, it's beautiful. And it
Thanks.
was funny before you told me the name. I'm like, it looks like a candy cane.
Yeah, peppermint twist. This one, I wanted to remember the name of this one, and for the life of me, I can't, and I know I got the pattern. But it was made with 10-inch layer cakes, and then
Oh, it looks like
you
you
know,
put a hole in here when there's no hole there.
I know.
It's
And
an
what
interesting
it
effect.
is it's flying geese at the bottom, then
Hmm.
a small rectangle, square, a square, and a rectangle that makes the star points.
Oh, you're right. That's beautiful.
Yeah. I
A
like
very
that.
interesting effect that it got.
Yeah.
And this
This
looks
one
like a New York beauty.
it is. This one here is the designer for this that did this was Nellie Velikas.
Hmm.
She's out of Akron, Ohio. She's a national teacher now. It's paper pieced. It's the first paper piece I ever did.
Hmm.
And the first curves I ever did. And I entered this in the state fair in North Carolina and I took first place. And
Wow.
this isn't a very good picture of it. I did every stitch. This has all been free motioned and it's very tiny micro stitching I did. And it has Swarovski crystals on it. There might be another picture of it that's better, but yeah. Or
It's gorgeous.
Swarovski crystals.
Wow.
This is just my scrappy quilt.
I was about to say this looks like a scrappy quilt.
Yep.
It's
This one I was
beautiful.
getting rid of my scraps.
Yep. That's a
It's
great
one
way to
block.
use them.
Yeah, one block that makes a secondary design.
Hmm.
So this is Illusions is the name of this quilt.
Yeah, I want to make one like that too.
Yeah,
That one's pretty.
this was fun. Let's see, there's batiks, Katie.
I know. I was eyeballing them boutiques.
I'm really into
I'm
batiks at one
busted.
time too. But
Yeah.
it's the illusion of it coming forward in that
Yep.
with this one.
That is really
But
cool.
yeah, you can look up you can look up the quilt and probably get the pattern. It might be free by now. I don't know,
Yep.
but
Probably.
yeah.
I'm sure
It,
somebody's
it
got it
was
for free.
this
And this
one
is
was
really cool. It's like you
yeah.
framed it or something.
I know. I don't remember the name of this one either, but it has a lot of stars in it, and this was fun. Um, the main thing, I had to be really careful as I was cutting and quilting,
Yeah.
piecing it because to make things match.
Yep. Because there's lots of points I see.
Yeah, and really it was in the, I'll call it the veining, the outline of the
Mm-hmm.
stars.
Yep.
That's where it was more, you had to manipulate a little bit.
Yeah, I can imagine so. And all those hexagons, man.
I know.
I haven't learned how to sew hexagons yet.
And this is my cottage rose.
Oh my God, now look
This
at
is,
that.
I think this was before I took a chenille brush to it. I took a chenille brush to this one, dampened the flowers and rubbed the chenille brush, and
Mhm.
that makes it fray. And
Oh,
then if you,
okay.
yeah, then I threw it in the wash machine and it would fray more. So the more you wash it or use it, the more it'll fray. And this has been free motioned. I did this free motion, and all I did is use my scraps. I mean,
It's beautiful.
it's whatever I had.
Hey,
Thanks.
this is what we need to do with our scraps. We need to use it
Yeah,
in every which way we can.
yeah,
I like this one too.
yeah. This is a log cabin too. I don't know if that's not courthouse squares, I don't think,
No,
but
it looks like log cabin to me.
yeah, just oh, it's just off. It's not offset. No, is
No,
it?
I don't think so.
Nope, it's not.
Because there's the
But
center right there. Yeah,
I must have been teaching this one too for me to
yeah.
make it.
It's beautiful.
I have done courthouse step one,
I'm
and
having
I
fun
did.
learning to do the one I'm doing now. I mean, this past month I learned how to do courthouse steps and now I'm learning how to do log cabin. I never done
I
either
like,
one of them.
yeah, I like that. I don't know if it's because that was the first thing I ever did, but I really like it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
The center of the uh traditionally the log cabins were like red
Hmm.
centers that meant for the heart of the home,
Yeah.
or you might see yellow for the light of the home. If you see a lot of them, of course I got brown, or I don't know what color I got, probably burgundy, but
Yep. That looks like the last one. Okay.
oh, good. I thought that I'm gonna bring my camera up
Okay.
so that you can see better.
Yeah.
And hopefully I don't drop this.
There we
How's
go.
that? Yeah,
Yep.
see,
There
I
we
just
go.
solved my own problem.
Yep. Okay. So thank you for sharing some of your beautiful work. I really appreciate that. Now we're going to have a little fun and I'm going to ask you some silly questions. Some of them will be silly and some of them won't. So this is what I call rapid fire. What is your favorite guilty pleasure?
Fish crackers.
Okay.
I love goldfish crackers.
What is your favorite quilting tool?
Ooh. Well, probably now my new rotary cutter. I got a Martelli rotary cutter. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I like that, but there's a lot of them. I don't have
Okay. What quilting item do you wish you had invented yourself?
the rotary cutter.
What was your worst quilting disaster and were you able to resolve it?
I don't know. I don't remember. And I probably just have it sitting back there somewhere in the unfinished pile. Um,
Okay.
I don't know.
What would you like to do in the world of quilting that you haven't already done?
See, I've dabbled in a lot of things. So
Surely
I've
there's something
tried
you
a lot.
haven't done you want to do.
I haven't been thinking on that.
Yeah, you cut you off guard
Okay,
on that
I
one.
I design a pattern.
Okay, there you
I
go.
said that that was one of the things that I was a little bit, okay, it'd be to design a pattern.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know what kind, but
Yep, just design one.
yep.
Okay, if you could watch anyone quilt, who would it be?
McTavish.
Who?
Or I watch somebody quilt
Yeah, you'll be watching them quilt. Who would it be?
for a long arm, it'd be Karen McTavish is her
Okay.
name. And or I forgot her. I know I slipped my mind who it is now. Who she's another one that's really good. But I seen Karen McTavish quilt.
Okay.
And there's the one little paisleys that you saw.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of her style. So
Okay, cool. All right,
yeah.
if you weren't a quilter, what would you do?
I I camp. No,
Camping.
I don't
Okay.
know because my life has been so involved with
Yep.
quilting now.
Tell us something about yourself that might surprise us.
It's worn in a car.
Okay. What five?
Surprised that surprised my dad.
Yeah. Okay. What five skills should a beginner quilter learn about to help them become good quilt makers as they learn? Give me five skills.
to how to read a pattern, basic how to read it, understand it, how to use a ruler, how to use a rotary cutter, how to understand measurements on a ruler.
Mm-hmm.
There's one more, and I'm trying to think what that. Well, they could. Others is more advanced, but at the beginning, it's how to use your tools and be willing to learn, have an open mind. I'd
Yep.
say one of the five is having an open mind to learn and not be critical of yourself
Yep.
as you're learning.
Okay. Suggest five tools that every beginner quilt maker should start out with and why.
Rotary cutter because it is easy for cutting your fabrics. A cutting mat because you need that if you're going to use a rotary cutter. Rulers, I'd say the 6.5 by 24, and maybe a 14 or a 12.5 inch block ruler is one that would be important to have. Seam
Mm-hmm.
ripper,
Mm-hmm.
because you'll need the seam ripper and a pair of snips to snip your threads as you're going.
Okay. So, what advice would you give concerning how to take care of quilts to make them last a long time?
Well, if they want to, one is you can wash them and you can dry them, but you it's more of a cooler setting.
Mhm.
Um, I would say that keeping them clean, but not overwashing them. If you're using them, it depends. Are you using them or do you want them to last? Are they pretty? Keep them dust free. If you really want to keep an heirloom quilt, then you want to probably put it in an acid free box with acid free tissue, wrap it up, seal it in that. But mostly just caring for it. Like if you have your quilts hanging, go ahead and use the vacuum with the little brush on it and get the dust off and switching them. Don't keep them folded in the same way for long periods of time. Change it and that. Change it up so they don't get a memory.
Okay. What advice would you give to a beginner quilter?
Just be willing to learn, just be open-minded and don't just stay encouraged.
Okay, so now this will be the next question is so you so for any other quilter, anyone, what advice would you should share with them also?
If sewed with any other quilter,
What advice would you share with any quilter, whether they're advanced, beginner, middle, they've been doing it for
don't
50
ever don't ever think that you have learned it all.
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this concludes our interview with Cheri. Cheri, please tell us again the name of your channel and down and at the end of this video, down below in the description box, you will find a link to her channel. Make sure you go over and share some love, subscribe to her channel, do some watch hours, like, and comment. That will help her channel.
It's Cheri Yurtin, my quilting world. You can literally just put my first and last name in and it'll come up.
Well, I appreciate you sitting down with me and letting me ask you loads of questions and share some of your beautiful work. I really enjoyed getting to know you some more, and
Yeah.
we will be, together watching this on a premiere. And I hope everybody enjoys the interview that I have created with Cheri. Make sure to live, laugh, love, and dream. And what do you do with all that? You make something. Good night, everyone.
Good night.